Well, I promised you stimulus. Many of you said, Clayton, will we see stimulus? Is this ever going to happen? It's finally here. It is stimulus night in America. Wednesday, yes, March 10th, 2021. We finally have stimulus passing in the House of Representatives. Now, we'll get into all of the muddy details on this. Here's the front page of Drudges a few minutes ago. 50 days in, Biden gets a win. So we will dive into the details of this. And I'm not just going to give you the normal run-of-the-mill stuff that everyone can report on. I want to give you the behind the scenes and what's next for this stimulus package and what's next for this infrastructure package and how all of this came together. So the stories you're not going to see anywhere else. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor. If you want to get 9% return on your savings account, in a savings account alternative. This is the only savings account I use because it's backed by cryptocurrency. It's not backed by this funny money that runs Washington, D.C. You've got to check out Outlet Finance. So this is the savings account alternative that I use. 9% interest on every dollar. And it's free to open the account. You can open it with like $5. I opened mine with $100. So you go to morninginvest.com/outlet. They have full coverage. They're held with an SOC2 compliant custody partner. And again, it's backed by cryptocurrency through Ethereum. So you're going to get a much higher return on your money in a savings account than you would with one of those terrible bank account savings accounts. Again, a 9% return, 9% APR, yearly APR. Fantastic. Go check them out at morninginvest.com/outlet. Our thanks to them for supporting the show and my favorite savings account. All right, stimulus night in America. Every single Republican voted against the American Rescue Plan. And get this, one Democrat voted against the plan as well. I thought this was odd. Maine Representative Jared Golden came out and voted against it. I couldn't believe that. Well, there you go, Democrats. The $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill passed in the House of Representatives 220 to 211. And it's now heading to President Joe Biden's desk. And at this hour, it's being enrolled. It's the process of making it official. And then they will start the process of printing it on a special type of paper. Yes, this is how they do it. They've got to print it on a special type of paper. And then President Biden, we thought he would sign it on Sunday, but the reports are tonight that he will sign it on Friday from the White House, probably in a Rose Garden ceremony if it's not too cold outside. If it is, they'll be inside, and they will be signing it either in the Oval Office or in the Theodore Roosevelt room. So a couple of different places that this could be signed on Friday. That's good. That's 2 days ahead of the deadline. Nancy Pelosi, just speaking a short time ago, and Senate Leader Chuck Schumer said that they will have the enrollment process this afternoon, putting this all in place. And the big problem here is that Republicans are betting that this bill, which 3/4 of the country approves of, is just too much. And they're going to try to brand it as such. They're trying to say that this was just a bridge too far. We can't afford it. And every one of them voted against it. Now, it's a huge political mistake, in my opinion. Voting against direct stimulus checks to the American people. I mean, what could be more direct? Oh, you were the member of Congress that voted against sending me direct stimulus payments? Now, you can get away with arguing against minimum wage. Like, there's enough political tendrils in the minimum wage debate for you to walk away from that if you're a Republican and say you didn't support it because you support small business and et cetera, et cetera. I get that. But direct stimulus checks to the American people, it's not good. It's not good. I don't know why they think they can brand it as such when they also passed a $4.5 trillion previous plans that bailed out big businesses in Wall Street. Democrats think it's just the right amount of money, $1.9 trillion. And they hope that they can keep the American people on their side on this. And now the big thing is that President Biden and sort of the selling of this, you're going to see over the next couple of weeks, is that one big mistake that they learned from the Obama administration is that when the Obama administration passed its stimulus, which was about 1/3 the size of this one, they didn't sell it. They didn't tell anyone about it. They hardly did any ground game on it. They didn't go out and tell people about it. They also didn't really tell people how to get access to it. It was kind of a huge mistake. So they've learned their lesson. So here's some background on what this is going to look like. According to the Washington Post this afternoon, Biden wants to sell the stimulus. And the White House is still trying to figure out how they're going to do this. What I mean by sell the stimulus is like, media campaigns, going out talking about it. And look, I know on the surface you might say, oh, that's really self-aggrandizing. And you might be right. It's all politics, right? On the other side, there's many of these programs that people didn't even know existed. There are small business loans that businesses didn't know existed. Businesses went under because they didn't realize they could actually get access to some of these funds. So imagine if there was a media campaign, if there are television commercials, take money from the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, fund and tell people about this. Let small businesses know that they have access to things. Let renters know that they have the ability to actually stay in their homes. Let people know that they'll be getting a child tax credit. They have to file it properly and get that child tax credit back on their tax returns. $3,600 per child. Like, there are huge things that you could sell. I mean, think about it if you were we're politicians, right? But think about if you're a business owner and you just rolled out something massive new product that you want to tell people about. You want to tell people that this thing could help them. Do it. By all means, do it. If you're putting this much political calculus behind it, then go out and by all means sell it. Yes, there's going to be plenty of self-aggrandizement. There's going to be a lot of patting on the back. Fine. As long as it helps people. As long as the patting on the back actually helps people figure out what's in this thing so they can get access to it. So right now, the Biden administration is weighing putting the president's name on the stimulus checks, which is one thing that they really didn't want President Trump to do. Oh, the shoe's on the other foot now. So will Democrats put his name on the checks so that millions of Americans will actually know who received it? Now, the difference this time is that Democrats also voted for that package. It was a bipartisan package last time. 0 Republicans voted for it and totally rejected the idea of this stimulus package. In fact, we'll get to Marjorie Taylor Greene in just a moment because Republicans aren't happy with her and what shenanigans she pulled on the House floor today. But what do you think about that? Let me know in the chat below. Should the president's signature be on the checks? I said before when Trump did it that I thought it was ridiculous. And I stand by that. It's coming out of the Treasury Department. It's from the Treasury Department. It's not from President Biden. It's not like it's Win Ben Stein's money and it's his own money. In fact, in many ways, it's your money. Maybe they should put your name on the check because, it's tax money to begin with. But Democrats have rejected that idea. They're not really going to put his name on it. So that's been rejected. Good for the White House. I mean, this is a tale of two different White Houses, right? The Trump White House is like, yeah, let's put our name on it. Can we put it in gold? The Biden White House is like, I know that it works. We know that people see that check and they're like, oh my God, Biden sent me a check? We know that it works politically. But the White House is not going to do that. But the White House is going to hit the road, and they're planning on trying to sell this $1.9 trillion plan. But they don't know where they're going to go. They don't know how they're going to do it. Right now, Jen Psaki, just a short time ago at a press conference, she said, quote, there is no currently any major advertising campaign focused on the proposal. Nothing is planned. As Democrats prepare to celebrate what they see as one of the most significant domestic policy achievements in modern history, the White House has yet to fully develop a strategy for the next crucial step, selling it to the American public, she says. So we don't yet know exactly what's going to happen there. But Kamala Harris and other cabinet officials are going to be traveling to promote the bill. We do know that. They're going to be hitting the road. One big thing on Kamala Harris front, this International Women's Day, and then, of course, Women's History Month. She's been out speaking specifically about this and how this pandemic has adversely affected women, millions of women who've lost their job. I think this would be a fantastic use of her public platform to be able to go out and talk about how this bill could help those women, paying for childcare, getting back to work, allowing schools to have infrastructure to reopen, making sure that the family tax credit is there for the children. Like, all of these things are incredibly important to sell. So they have learned their lesson. They are vowing not to make the same mistake that they made under President Obama and not letting people know the details of this bill and, frankly, who was responsible for it. Make no mistake, Republicans don't deserve a lick of credit for any of this. If anything, they deserve the credit for trying to get in the way of this thing. So one bit of news that came out this afternoon is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She apparently, Republicans are a little upset with her antics. Of course, you know Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is the representative from Georgia who is, full on QAnon and conspiracy theorist and spouted all sorts of racist remarks and had to apologize to Kevin McCarthy and, was on the verge of losing her power. And she did in many respects. Well, today she's done again what he's done about 4 times now, which she has gone down on this House floor and she basically, puts up a pointless vote of calling for the House to adjourn. Just adjourn. We're going to leave. Then what Republicans have to do is they have to go back and decline this. They have to vote against it, and it's meaningless. There's no chance of it prevailing at all. Internally, Republican leaders have made the point that these tactics they're getting sick of. They're silly, and they say they're not part of a larger strategy that has any chance for success. And she messages, she's like, we've got to stop this bill. This is a ridiculous bill. It's Democrat pet projects and all of this stuff. Which, fine. Okay, vote against it. But motioning to adjourn, which is just a waste of time. So right now, Republicans also appear to be really getting sick of this tactic. The House has taken 72 votes so far this session, and 5 of them have been motions to adjourn. There was 5 motions to adjourn in the entirety of the last Congress, and now we've already got 5 so far this session from her. Ridiculous waste of time. So they're looking to maybe make a change to this motion to adjourn. Steny Hoyer is considering it because they're getting sick of it, and it's a waste of time. Nevertheless, she couldn't stop it. And now it heads to President Biden's desk for the signature. It's being enrolled in this special parchment paper, and then it heads over there. A couple of points that we should bear in mind in all of this is that right now economists are sort of grappling with what's next. Is President Biden going to be heralded as a hero in the vein of like an FDR? New Deal. There are Republican older Americans that I know who, they're Republican through and through, but they still say the greatest president in their lifetime was FDR. Republicans that are conservative to the core say no one was better than FDR. Why? For turning the nation around, big programs, New Deal dynamics, infrastructure, all of it, right? Social Security, love it or hate it. FDR is sort of the pinnacle of this liberal progressive expansion of the federal government. And so now the question this morning is this sort of morning in America moment for President Biden. Will this massive bill and the infrastructure package, which is coming next, be a bridge too far, or will he become that sort of hero moment? Will he become as in the FDR vein? Will he sort of rise up in this sort of create the sort of boom time like Ronald Reagan, FDR of the 1940s and 30s? Or could this be a huge problem? And this is the debate that's about to unfold, and you're getting a preview of this already tonight as we start to think about the infrastructure package, which was coming together next. So global gas prices are surging, home prices are jumping, speculative assets are soaring, and investors are increasingly sort of fearing this kind of sharp inflation. Now, inflation is the buzzword of the past few weeks now. We're going to have much more on inflation of the US dollar. We're going to be covering it more this week and over the weekend, and I'll have a special video I'm going to do specifically on inflation. And we should all be concerned about the inflation of the US dollar, the devaluing of our currency. Could it be a moment of glory for President Biden as he signs this thing? Or will we look back on this and say, this is the moment? This is the moment when we went too far afield. And the overall amount of our GDP spending in the United States is now exceeding our ability to ever pay it back. But the elite class, when you hear from Janet Yellen, you hear from Jerome Powell and others, aren't concerned about inflation and think that our ability to keep that under control is strong. And if it works out, President Biden could be seen as this, hero. Len Berman, a Syracuse economist and co-founder of the Tax Policy Center, says if it works out well, Biden will be viewed as a hero and he'll deserve it. This is the first time that we've ever really provided enough stimulus, and the risk is that it will be too much, and inflation is a real risk. But if it works out badly, At least we'll know the result of a grand experiment like this. Because the fear before, during the Obama stimulus, was that if we go too big, we could have all kinds of problems. And they went too small. And by going too small, we ended up staying in this like really slow growth, grinding halt. And that was the big mistake. The big mistake that they learned under the Obama years was going too small. And now we have a chance to go large. Go large and actually prove that it works. And this could be the moment for progressives to say, see, by not being austere, by staying away from austerity politics, we can actually achieve amazing things. We can lift millions of people out of poverty. We can build an infrastructure that brings broadband to rural parts of the country where 12 million children don't have access to the internet for schooling in 2021. And yet you go to Rwanda or Estonia and they have better internet access than we do. This could be the real moment of change in the United States, if we can pull this off. So just a short time ago, the House has given the final okay to President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID aid plan. Billions of dollars for schools, billions of dollars for rental assistance, billions of dollars in direct stimulus checks, state and local government money, billions of dollars. Infrastructure, transportation, the likes is coming next. So this is just the first in a piece of this. Tomorrow on our live show, we're going to be going through the bill and we're going to look at all of the little details, the little nooks and crannies of this thing. And we're going to study and we'll answer any of your questions about this package. And again, we're still hoping we'll have some answers tomorrow from the IRS and how quickly they can get up and running on these things on their website. We'll have hopefully more answers on the child tax credit piece of this. When will that be rolled out? We're hoping tonight we'll have some more answers on the child tax credit. When will state and local governments get their money? We understand from the reporting that it's going to be later. So how soon can state and local governments? What about additional hazard pay? What about rental assistance? What about those programs that we even passed back in December? How quickly will rental assistance be in your hands? All of those things we'll be analyzing on the show tomorrow. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Live right here. So subscribe to the channel right down here in the little dingus corner over here and smash that bell notification so you'll be notified as soon as we go live. We have a great community and I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning. Thanks everyone.